And welcome to the Factor Uncensored. We have a great show planned for you and some very important issues that are going on in the world. We begin with the latest on the Gaza War, fighting between the Israelis and Hamas. It's been going on for 6 days now, but in theory, it's been going on for decades, thousands of years with no end in sight. Israel's air campaign has destroyed entire neighborhoods in Gaza in response to the weekend attack by Hamas. And as the fighting intensifies, Israel has mobilized 360,000 reservists. So far, the war has claimed at least 2,700 lives on both sides. According to the White House, at least 27 Americans have been killed in Israel, and more than 3,000 have been wounded. We have a lot of ground to cover. First, we lay out what is the Gaza Strip, where this began nearly a week ago. Gaza is a narrow strip of land bordering Israel on one side and Egypt on the other. It's 4 to 7 miles wide and 25 miles long. Some say it's close to the size of Washington, D.C. There are close to 2 million people living there, mainly Palestinians. That makes Gaza one of the densest territories in the world. Military experts say Hamas and other militant groups have launched attacks against Israel from Gaza. That has led Israel to respond in kind with military action, with a rising death toll on both sides. Now, the devastation of this war has been felt across the globe. Today, we had a chance to speak with the Consulate General of Israel, who is based right here in Houston, about how this is impacting their country. For those who are wondering what they can do, if anything, to help out, what would you suggest to Houstonians?
That's a very good question, and I actually get it a lot. When I speak to Americans are very mission-driven, and I really admire that. And Houstonians have shown so much solidarity. This is really heartwarming. I'm getting literally, tens and hundreds of calls just to show support and to ask, how can we help? And what I'm trying to explain to them, some people think it's some sort of war on the other side of the globe, but not really. We know that terrorism is never, ever a local or regional problem. This is a global phenomena, and it should worry all of us, and we should treat it as such. And so when people ask me what they can do, I talk to them about a different kind of war. Our IDF is doing his job in Israel, but a part of the warfare is the war on public opinion. This is a very challenging battle. And in this sense, I ask people a very simple thing: speak up, tell the truth, share with people what you know. All the support messages I'm getting are great and heartwarming. Please don't leave them on the personal side of things and make it public. Be vocal.
Have you received calls from Houstonians who may still have family members in Israel and they have not been able to contact them? Are you helping with that? And is that something that you do as Consulate General?
Yes, a part of our work is, of course, connecting any citizen that has a connection to Israel and is worried about family members or friends. The American embassy in Israel is doing the exact same thing from their side. And so I think, but yes, you touched upon a very painful point, which is a part of those 1,300 people that were slaughtered. And I repeat the number, let's just hear it again, 1,300, and it keeps getting higher and higher. Some of them were foreign citizens. Some of them had dual citizenships. Some of them were Americans. And so, of course, this is a great concern, and we're working with all the foreign embassies in Israel to make sure everyone locates their loved ones and know what's going on with them.
And now to the latest in this. The UN says Israel has ordered the evacuation of 1.1 million people in northern Gaza. So how did we get here? It began even before Jesus Christ was born. Joining us to talk about it here on The Factor Uncensored, University of Houston's professor, Dr. David Branham. And we know, I mean, everyone has had their hand in this, from the Roman Empire to the British Empire.
There's countless countries who have control.
Exactly. So how did we get here?
Well, this has been a long-going conflict, as you say, but the main conflict has been going on since 2006. After Yasser Arafat, the PLO leader, passed away, then Hamas basically took over the Gaza Strip. And it's Shiite Muslim, about 99% Shiite Muslim.
And when you say PLO, that's the Palestinian Liberation Army.
Organization.
Yeah.
Yes, and so the Hamas took over. They won the elections and basically took over the Gaza Strip. It's a very small area, and they have 2 million people in a very small area. Mm-hmm. Most of them are actually children, and they are very dead set on making sure that they have all of Israel, all the West Bank, and all of the Gaza Strip as part of the Palestinian country. They have no will to negotiate. They don't have any desire to have Israel exist. So as long as that's taking place, then there's a danger right there in Israel's face. Now,
Palestinians have all complained about what they call the occupation of Israel. But what we're talking about when we talk about Hamas, that's not all of the Palestinian people, though, right?
No, it's not. But Hamas is mainly in the Gaza Strip. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's some in the West Bank, but their power is in that Gaza Strip where we're getting the bombardment from Israel right now. So that's where they control. But they have control. But this is very dangerous for them, Hamas. I mean, they're outnumbered by the Israelis. Mm-hmm. The Israeli has a larger military than they do. They have a lot more sophistication. They spend a lot of money on their military. They have the Iron Dome that keeps those missiles from coming into Israel a lot of times. And in the meantime, Hamas is just getting hammered by these bombs.
Now, how would you describe Hamas? Would it be a terrorist organization, a militant organization? What?
Well, they use terrorist techniques in what they do. That's their mantra. They don't hesitate to use these terrorist techniques.
And really quick, do the average Palestinian have anything to say about what Hamas does?
I don't think so. I don't think the average Palestinian. Palestinians are mostly Islamic, but a lot of them are Christians. The Christians have no say in this.
Okay, got it. We'll talk about it later, Dr. David Branham.
There's an American see what's happening. I mean, I've been doing this a long time. I never really thought that I would see and have confirmed pictures of terrorists beheading children.
Welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. According to the president and, of course, experts who've been watching, children beheaded is more than enough reason to care about the Gaza war. Today, President Biden pledged support for Israel and says he has not given up hope on bringing hostages in Israel home. Joining us to talk about this here on The Factor Uncensored, University of Houston professor downtown, Dr. David Branham, Dr. Dietrich von Bietenfeld, also from UHD, attorney Eric Dick, and entrepreneur and political analyst Marcus Davis. So, Marcus, first of all, let's begin with you. What do you think our role should be, if any, in Israel and in this Gaza war?
Well, I think, first of all, our role should be, as the United States government, our role should be to America. Think about how we got here, right? 2 weeks ago, we were grinding the government to a halt, and the number one point of contention was how much money we're going to give to Ukraine. 2 weeks later, we're ready to rev the government up again. Why? To give some support to Israel. I'm an American taxpaying citizen. What about me? Where's that sense of urgency when it comes to me? So I think our first role should be to American taxpaying citizens, because all of the support we're giving to other nations are our tax dollars. Secondly, I think we have a responsibility and a duty as a media to tell the whole story, both sides of the story.
And what are we not hearing, Marcus, according to you?
Well, it's not that we're not hearing it. It just needs to be balanced, right? Because we use words like the Hamas war versus the Gaza war. And I appreciate this being called the Gaza War.
Yeah.
Because, you know, at the end of the day, whether you agree or disagree with one side or the other, there are arguments on both sides. There has been oppression that's going on for decades, particularly since 2006, as the professor alluded.
And so when you say oppression, so the viewer can understand what you're saying, who has been oppressed here?
Well, according to the United Nations, not Marcus Davis, according to the International Committee of the Red Cross, not Marcus Davis, the oppression of Israel has been well documented for the last 15 years. The oppression that Israel has created on the people of Gaza, the Palestinians.
Make that clear, because you said the oppression of Israel, but you mean
the oppression Israel has taken, according to the United Nations, the oppression that Israel has caused on the people of Palestine.
Okay, Eric Dick, when you hear that, do you agree with that?
And I don't know. We have a long history with Israel. We were the first to recognize its independence in 1948 with Truman. And if you want to talk about national alliances, you know, worldwide alliances, Israel's probably our BFF. So I think it's silly for us not to have our BFFs back. And we're talking about our issues with Palestine. This goes back to when Titus kind of conquered Rome and all this stuff going on then. This is a long history with Israel and their borders and issues like that. But we have to back Israel. This is we have such a close relationship with Israel, with our religion, with our intelligence, with our technology. It's just silly for us to suggest not having our BFFs back.
All right. Dr. Branham, let's hear from you on this.
The oppression, I have the fortune of actually having some of these students in my class, students from Lebanon, students from all around the world who talk about this. And there has been oppression by Israel. They occupied the territories that are supposed to belong to the Palestinians. It happened. It's happened. They are not innocent of all this. But what's going on right now is something that I think is just a horrible move on Hamas's part, because they're going to end up getting slaughtered on this. Their actions are not going to, there's no one that's going to tolerate this and have any kind of sympathy for them. So I think it's just a bad strategic move on Hamas's part.
All right. Dr. Von Biedenfeld, sorry.
I mean, at the end of the day, obviously based on my last name, I'm not going to weigh in too heavily on either side. However, we have to recognize that this has been a historic challenge. These are created, these are fabricated borders. These are individuals who have been placed in geographic positions on the Israeli and the Gaza and Palestinian sides based on arbitrary, capricious, and other legal terms that Counselor Dick can also attest. But when people start to experience oppression, Nelson Mandela, Nobel Prize winner, also considered a terrorist. So when we think about these concepts of retaliation, when we think about these concepts of these individuals moving, there's a little bit of conspiracy theory stuff going on in the back corridors of my conversation elements with my State Department colleagues, where the Iron Dome and other elements, unlike the U.S.-Mexico border, which is quite porous, the Israeli-Gaza border has been sealed off. You've got over 15,000 Israeli troops sitting there on the border. No one got an alert. No helicopters were summoned. Nothing happened. This is very suspicious. And concurrently, when we go back in history, I'm not going back to Titus, but I will go back to the 2000s, where we say there was a hacker who hacked into the Defense Intelligence Network and then fled to Israel. We asked for extradition, and Israel said, no, you can't have him.
All right. We want to thank you all for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored. This could go on and on.